So I'm gonna go through this real quickly, because I know that we've gone through, you guys can sit here, I'll just go through quick and you can add anything. But what are those tips? I think we already got some really good tips, what was previously mentioned. Hope you guys took some notes. But some additional things on how to look good. So you'll see some examples of resumes up on the walls, so be sure to check them out. You can take a picture of it, or if you signed in the front, we will get your email address and we can send you a link to a Google Drive where you see all of these things electronically. So, show off your language skills accurately. I have this picture here because that means if you want to take a picture of the screen and that helps you with your resume writing, you can take a picture. But we've already heard the words native, fluent, first, second, third generation. You know, use the words read, write, interpret, translate. Use those specific words instead of just saying bilingual, because that means nothing. We already know that. List your formal training. Is it a certificate completion? How Pepe mentioned, certificate completion, not certified. Any kind of training programs, higher education. Over here, make sure you list your experience. Specifically, what type is it? You can't just say volunteer work. I've been a bilingual volunteer. How? Where? School, IEPs, parent-teacher conferences. Be specific with what you've done. Additional tips. You can, I think this is something way extra. You can offer to provide your resume in another language. Oh, yeah. So what if I say I am a perfect Spanish English? Okay, I'm gonna put myself, and I think you use the word Pepe of self-assess. So what if I show you how I'm showing myself off? Include professional references that can attest to your language skills. You know, because again, what if no one is checking? What if you can say, you know what, I interpreted for Pepe and everybody loves Pepe and everybody loves Christy, and she says that I did an okay, or she didn't say that I did poor, I'm okay with that. You know, share the writing examples in multiple languages. Because you already mentioned arts, it's not enough to just say you translated a piece. Can I show you a piece that I produced for our community newsletter at church? Yeah.
So I have a question, because I work in high schools and I help high school kids do their resumes, and so we put biliterate because there is a program, I'll just share it really quickly, it's called the Seal of Biliteracy, and it's a federal program, and it is a certification for high school students, and it's hard. So they have to go through a battery of tests, and unfortunately there's a lot of students that think they might pass, and they get this kind of reality check, like, wow, I really am not as proficient as I thought I was.
That's where you hear Pepe's dad voice talking, right?
Yeah, but it's hard tests. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, it's a hard test for young people.
And that's a certificate then, right?
And
so
it's
they
a
can put that in
certificate.
there.
They get a stamp on their diploma, and then not that they would use it, but then in certain Missouri colleges, if they major in a certain language, then they get like 12 free college credits. But none of these schools are the kind of schools that our students go to. But it's there.
And
so,
that's Casey Mo School District, right?
yes, and I'm sure they're doing it somewhere else, but we're not even doing it in all of our schools. We do it in 2 high schools. So we put biliterate, and so I don't know if you're using those words. I don't put bilingual. And
No.
We use the word bicultural.
Yeah.
Because it is much more than just the literacy portion, and it's just more than the linguistic portion of it.
But if you put bicultural, like instead of bilingual?
It depends. I use the tiered and the layered.
Okay.
So I was actually hired as a bicultural editor when I was hired. And that was inclusive of being bilingual.
Yes.
In your industry?
Yes,
In
well,
my
in
industry,
marketing and communications,
marketing, okay,
yes.
Yeah.
Because if I see something that says bicultural, I would not know.
Well, so
not-
it comes down to industries,
Yeah.
and there's a suggestion later on that says, be ready to make more than one resume.
Yeah.
Okay, so then maybe, yeah, so this one's gonna be marketing, but, you know, if you have a high school student applying for a quick trip job, you know, how do they wanna say it? You know, and that may look a little bit different.
Right.
So here's some other, it's really just being accurate, self-assessing yourselves, things that we've already said, they've already said. So maybe as far as your proficiency, these are terms that are used in LinkedIn, so intermediate, etc., whatever. So you might want to try looking at those words again. I think it comes down to self-assessment, because if no one else is telling you what to write on there, look at this portion down here, limited working proficiency, professional working proficiency, full professional proficiency. How much do you want to call yourself, how proficient you are? This is something that we came up with, and you can change the titles, but using that same type of graphic, plug in whatever words you end up using. So on that dual role experience, maybe it's something like Medicaid, public speaking, social media, case management. Be specific and rate yourself. Rate yourself on, maybe I'm going to say I can speak it, I think, very, very well. But if I know I'm not as good in writing, then I'll self-assess myself there. Accurately state your qualifications. So instead of saying certified interpreter through advanced medical interpreting at Children's Mercy Clinics, hospitals, it's a certificate or a certificate of completion. Say what it is that you received. Accept jobs that you're qualified for. We've already said this before. Prepare for those that you aren't. So here's some training opportunities. Culture Journey. Pepe, you have a class coming up in April.
Yes.
Some space available. I know they get
Yeah.
filled. Okay.
There are a few seats available. I have some flyers here.
Yeah. So you can check in with Pepe there. Jewish Vocational Services. And you guys can look at these screens later or whatever. But Johnson County Community College, MCC, LAMP interpreters. Angel that was here earlier, I think they're coming up with some things too. In the group for the BIT Kansas City, we post whatever other training opportunities that we find. So there's one that was in there too. Other ways to kind of prepare. Read fiction, read nonfiction, read a lot,
That's
write,
right.
communicate, connect, volunteer, accept criticism. Never stop learning, always be ethical, create a standard even if there are none. And then 2 more things. Do not lie. So don't lie about your proficiency or your training. Have more than one resume and make it fit the posting. So I know that I've learned this from other employers, is that if they post, it's going to be senior program manager with, 6 years experience of Medicaid in Kansas, blah, 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 no sé qué. When you're applying for that job, sometimes it goes through an automatic recruiter and all of these systems. So if I don't show Medicaid or 6 years or whatever, they won't even pull my app because it doesn't match that posting. So that's why may have to create more than one resume, and when you upload or you describe yourself, you're gonna have to tailor that to that job. All right, then finally, resumes are not just for jobs. So they're also for leadership opportunities. It's not just about being a bilingual employee, it's about being a bilingual director, it's about being a bilingual board of director chair, it's about being the decision maker at the table. So just because you said that we have a job now as a bilingual, there's still lots of other stuff that we could be doing.